Welcome back, everybody, to the Valorant First Strike UMG Close Qualifier. It's been a long day, but now the final series has come, and what a series we do have. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Doug and Simo. It feels good to have you boys back once again in the series you guys are all very excited for. Simo, we'll start with you. Why were you so anxious to watch Moon RACCOONS versus Serenity?
Well, listen, I'm probably the face of caster bias right now in all of the Valorant competitive scene, but I'm a Moon Raccooner. I like the play style, I like the team, but the number one reason why I love this team is in any single interview where they get interviewed, the separate players or together as a team, they always say they play to have fun. I can totally respect that. You've got teams like 100 Thieves, Cloud9, TSM, they're buying rosters to play, to compete and to dominate and to win. When you've got this Moon RACCOONS team unsigned, is just like having fun, and I can respect that. I can totally respect that.
Okay, well, Doug, you are also interested in this. For who, though? Was it Moon RACCOONS or Serenity? I'm not going to look. I've talked to Serenity, at least on their social team, and they seem like a great bunch of people. They're very passionate, right? They're very hungry to make a name for themselves. But for you, is it Moon RACCOONS as well, or is it Serenity?
Yeah, so before I answer that, I've got, as much as it pains me to say this, I have to admit that Simo's been a fan of Moon RACCOONS before it was cool. This really is like something that he's just loved from the very beginning. And yeah, it might have been because they have probably the coolest name in professional Valorant with a Moon Raccoon of all things, but
well, and logo too.
And the logo's dope. You're absolutely right. But no, I think by and large, I really like Moon RACCOONS. I like what they've been able to show historically. They've surprised a lot of really good teams. Like, they've hung with very good teams. They're not a pushover squad. They're also, if I'm not mistaken, the only team in the close qualifiers that's not signed. Right? Like, these guys are the real deal.
Sure. Well, I mean, this is the thing, man. If they do qualify, I guarantee you they're going to get picked up. They might get picked up regardless, but it's going to be sad to watch Moon RACCOONS, no longer be their name after all. Let's look at our maps, though, because this is an interesting one. I know you excited, Simo. Haven, Ascent, and Split. What do you think?
You know, I thought for some reason moving into this one that Serenity would have the top seed because they're coming from the top side and Moon RACCOONS had to fight through the losers bracket. But Moon RACCOONS gets the ban right away. And they're going to take away Serenity's, or at least the map that Moon RACCOONS is the least comfortable on, and Serenity is the most comfortable on. So Bind will be taken away by Moon RACCOONS. And so now you've got these 3 different maps that Serenity have to fight through, and Split, if we end up going to that third map, Serenity and Moon RACCOONS both relatively unpracticed on it, at least from what we know in all of the different open and closed qualifiers. But still, Moon RACCOONS is taking off something that they are not comfortable with and leaving it up to the 3 maps that statistically they are very happy with playing out. So a very interesting map pool indeed.
You know, so check this out. You mentioned the 3 maps. I think it's going to game 3. I really do. In terms of predictions, though, I've got to side with one. I've got to side with one. And honestly, for me, flawless so far, I think I have to go with Moon RACCOONS. And you know what? It's not going to be easy, though. It is for sure going to go to game 3. And Simo, as you said, that Split, very unpracticed for both, right? We don't have a lot of stats when it comes to these 2 rosters. That would be the case, I think, for Moon RACCOONS. But then again, I mean, it's so negligible to the point where Serenity could still very much so win that map too. I favor Serenity going into Haven. I think it's very equal going into Ascent. So whoever wins map number 1, honestly, is going to have a huge leg up, because Ascent, it could easily be a 2-0. But enough on that, Doug. What are you thinking?
I agree. I'm leaning towards Moon RACCOONS here in 2-1 fashion. And there, as we look at some of the history between these 2 squads, sorry, let me say that differently. Not between these 2 squads, but for both of these squads on the maps that are going to be played. You're right. Split's a bit of a toss-up. Haven could be interesting. And, the same goes for Ascent. They're both toss-ups. I think the truth is, for this prediction in general, it's a very hard call. Because let's be honest, right? Let's all be very honest with ourselves. Did we really think we'd be talking about Serenity and Moon RACCOONS playing for a playoff spot to qualify for First Strike?
Yeah.
No. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here, bro.
No, well, I mean, I'm agreeing with you, Doug. I'm agreeing with you that this is shocking.
Way to agree.
No. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I understand. I get it. But I'm agreeing with you because this feels like this should be illegal. This dogfighting is not allowed in the United States, and these are 2 underdogs that are going to be going head to head in a battle for a playoff spot, as you highlighted. And of course, I feel like Moon Raccoon's a little bit less of an underdog because they've already proven their mettle. We saw that match against 100 Thieves to qualify into the NSG close qualifier. That was a nail biter. That was close. 100 Thieves almost had to go through the UMG Open qualifier to make it to this point here as well. So Moon Raccoons are definitely not a pushover. But you also have to think about and consider that tomorrow, the winner of this has to face off the big, scary TSM. And neither team are likely wanting that either, right? TSM is a scary team, likely going to be making it through. So it's a tough battle ahead, even if you win right here, right now.
So,
Taylor, I just want to quickly say one more thing, though.
Okay.
Like, this is why I think so many people were so excited about the format for First Strike, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
these open qualifiers, the prevalence of them allows for situations like this, allows for us to have conversations like Moon Raccoons and Serenity, who's going to qualify for the playoffs to get into the first. Like, this is why it was done this way. This is where the cream of the crop rises.
No, 100%. That's why I love this open style, right? I want to see who's up there. Moon Raccoons in an invitational probably doesn't get invited, but now they have a chance to make a name for themselves, and that's the beautiful thing. Simo, you never gave your prediction. Who are you going with?
Come on, man. You're going to ask a Moon Raccooner? It's a 2-0 sweeparoo for the Moon Raccoons. Just in time to finish off the day. Don't want to go past midnight EST. They just want to clean things up, head to bed, get a good night's rest for that TSM match tomorrow. Moon Raccoons got this 2-0.
Okay, all right. Well, Serenity fans, if you're out there, make sure that you're going to prove us wrong. Give them your energy in the chat. I'm going to dip out. We're going into map 1, Haven. Moon Raccoons versus Serenity Boys. Take it away.
It's time, baby. I'm so excited. All right, let's talk a bit about Haven, right? We talked about some of the map records. You know, both of us gave Moon Raccoons the nod when it comes to series predictions, but you know, if you look across the board for the Nurture Gamers tournaments and the UMG tournaments, Serenity has more reps on this map.
They definitely do. Having to go through both open qualifiers, they were knocked out by Dignitas, who Dignitas is no longer a possibility for the First Strike final event, which is crazy to think about. But Serenity haven't had the greatest success against Genji either, which those maps do end up going to Haven. So they've got some notable wins on Haven, specifically against FaZe 13-2, and a win, of course, against Complexity in the close qualifier yesterday, 13-10. Now, Complexity, they've surprised us in prior tournaments. The qualifier here, the UMG close qualifier, haven't been as impressive. And you know, Moon Raccoons were able to take them down in a 2-0. I think this is going to be one of those scenarios as well. I think Complexity had put them in a similar ballpark range as Serenity, proving their mettle, being able to take down Complexity as well. And got now the action with Moon Raccoons kicking us off on the defensive side and Serenity on the attack.
Yeah, interesting thing here to look at early on as far as composition goes. The one real difference is Scourge on the Reyna. In the UMG in the NSG tournaments, all these letters get them mixed up. He was playing Raze primarily on Haven. This time, beginning of this tournament, and it looks like they're sticking to it. They like that Reyna more than they do the Raze in this situation. We'll see how it pays off so far for Serenity on the attacking side. They haven't shown a whole lot of anything. They took a shock dart to the face that certainly didn't feel very good, but they haven't shown anything otherwise.
Yeah, you know, early fishing trip towards that C-long side just to see what's there. They'll use the Owl Drone, and man, Complexity boy did love those B-side hits, and once again, we're seeing that here exact thing from Serenity. So it's going to be up to Moon Raccoons to figure out how they want to retake the site. Rebo's already there, and he's going to at least deny one. It's traded by Joseph, but now the spike is being planted. Psych! As Profi comes into the mix, takes down Joseph, and now the spike's behind enemy lines.
That's the thing about this set piece we see out of so many teams. It really is a 50-50 in a lot of ways. Like, there's no guarantee that you get on it and get the spike down, and then even afterwards, assuming you do and you pull out, it's just chaos. As the defending team tries to fight for the defuse, left. The spike is in a very difficult spot for Serenity here, as really all of Moon Raccoons can just kind of stare at it, and there's no way that anybody would get into it without somebody knowing. You see Fiend is getting pushed in from a couple of members of Serenity, able to get one, as Turnip drops. Scourge looking for the second, he is able to get him, as Fiend drops. It's going to drop things down to a 1v2.
Oh, no!
Oh, Serenity, Scourge with the 3-piece on the Reyna. That was a filthy start for Serenity.
That looked really bad for Serenity momentarily. They were able to get the spike at least in, but not get it planted. And it was good on Moon RACCOONS to fight for the post plant before the post plant even happened. But the fact that Serenity members looped around as a unit through the garage up towards Link really kind of, I think, threw a curveball for Moon RACCOONS, maybe expecting them to fight through the choke point there. That's why you saw temperature up on the box on the site itself. And yeah, it did not work out the way that they had intended. And I ultimately thought, especially the way that those frags were coming in, that Moon RACCOONS were still going to be able to clutch things out. But really solid stuff here coming out from Serenity.
No early buy up for Moon RACCOONS. They're not going to be forcing anything as far as finances go. A couple of sheriffs to bring into the action, but other than that, it's going to be relatively meager resources. Serenity once again showing this look up mid. You see Showtime's going to drop a Cloudburst and dash in. Joseph elsewhere on the site is able to get the opening frag. Showtime follows up as members of Moon RACCOONS just continue to drop all over the place. Serenity, a much cleaner execution than what we saw the first time around on this look. Alexander with the sheriff tagged down pretty considerably and is the last one standing. Flawless round for Serenity.
It was obviously going to be a little bit easier given the weapons that they had, but I expect that B-side hit to come out more frequently. We've seen some teams like Complexity, and even in some cases TSM, adapt to that style, just hitting that B-side fast and getting out. It was actually Gen G that pioneered it initially with Sage. They'd put the wall up, get the spike down, and just run back towards the courtyard and just play angles from the window. But this is a gun round from Moon RACCOONS and a different look from Serenity as well. Presence towards the A long side, no sewers control from Moon RACCOONS. We'll see if this pans out from distance.
It's a really interesting positioning by Moon RACCOONS early on. Oftentimes you'll see the Sova play across that side, but it doesn't matter at this point. Fiend is able to get one and trades out. The spike posturing around A short. You see a couple of smokes coming out from the Omen towards the cut and Heaven. It looks like that's exactly where they want to go. But of course, as I say that, the spike beginning to rotate away.
It might just be kind of fishing things out. They got a lot of information. They got a lot of ground covered. Of course, you can have Rebo locking down that C site. We're going to expect him to sit down in that location for the entirety of the half, unless they switch things up where he defends the A site instead. For the time being, Serenity back away. Maybe see if there's anyone trying to flank them through. They've got tripwires set up. They've got a camera as well in the courtyard to gather that information to see if there's a flank coming through. And they're just going to stack towards the sewer side. We'll see now if Alexander is able to hold the line alongside Temperature in just a moment.
Oh, he's got to get a chance. I don't think they're looking his way. No! Alexander's able to get one. He's going to try to reposition, but he gets dropped at the hands of Turn Up Temperature from Hell. Able to pick them apart. He's got two, looking for more. He's healthy. He's got a couple of bullets to work with as well. And yeah, baby, give it to him. A 3K on the round. The defending side holds strong as Moon RACCOONS get on the board.
Yeah, a little bit of a tougher spot there for Serenity. They back away, and ultimately, you know, with Cast Division, we see that the C site's just going to be an anchor site for Rebo, while the rest of the team are going to respond to the action of Serenity's attack. And we saw how heavily stacked they were moving towards that A site, and as a result, Moon RACCOONS responded in kind. Dedicated 3 members in the mid-round to locking down that A site, and then once Alexander got space, they try to push through. He's playing an off angle. He finds it's traded. Bada bing, bada boom. Moon RACCOONS win the gun round. But this is another round that they need to win, as Serenity, guess what? They're going to be barreling down the C long side.
Get out of my way!
Cover going out.
So far, nothing really committed. You mentioned that they were going to be working their way up. That's exactly what we're seeing so far. Profi's able to take care of Scourge as he tries to continue to reposition himself. He gets back into safety. He's certainly worse for wear, just 1 armor and 76 health to his name, but they have not. Serenity hasn't backed off. They haven't changed their minds. It looks like for now, that's still where they want to be. You have to be careful, however, because Moon RACCOONS is sending a bit of information over. Profi is starting to rotate over, but Serenity is pulling out as well.
I love that. You had one player moving towards the courtyard, get the camera out and run away, anticipating that there's a player that's rotating back. And now Alexander in so much trouble, finds one. He's on the retreat. Does he have the support? He does. But Rebo will take his life for Alexander. Showtime is popping off. And now it's a 3v3 with Serenity just deciding where do they want to funnel this spike. It's going to be the C side. Moon RACCOONS are responding.
Once again, we're back right where we started, this time with significantly less time to work with. You see the Paranoia come out. It's not going to connect onto anyone, but it is going to create some space for them as members of Moon Raccoons are starting to push in from the defending side. Temperature and Fiend are able to get a kill apiece. It's going to drop down to a 1v1 easy with 87 health. Oh, he gets up close and personal, and he takes care of Fiend. What a huge 1v1 for Easy.
That was a crazy round. The mid round was spectacular from both sides. Serenity trying to rotate through the courtyard. I like the way that it was played in the courtyard by Moon Raccoons, having Profi push up, get rid of the camera, and give space to Alexander to push up, get into a cheeky position. He finds one, could have found two, and the two I think would have netted them the round because it would have been an absolute bloodbath there. And if Showtime was one of those two, then you're put in a position where Rebo doesn't die for his friend. But now it's looking like a little bit of a tougher spot economic-wise for Moon Raccoons, and once again, Serenity barreling down the C side initially.
And this time, there's really nobody on it. They have a couple of resources, Moon Raccoons do, towards Garage. Now they're going to rotate over. They just don't really have the guns. You see Rebo there with one of the most unique crosshairs I've ever seen, and a Sheriff, but nothing connecting quite yet. They've been forced off. They're going to have to fight for a retake here.
Nowhere to run!
It's an eco retake, but they're going to try it nonetheless. Profi! Profi! Are you serious right now? That is the fattest Hunter's Fury I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was surprised to see it, but the round's not over yet. It's a 2v2. Make it a 2v1. Showtime will be the last one standing. Ping starting to come through. The Spike's in a tough spot. That's a little bit of a tougher spot for Temperature, and he's going to feel the heat as the shots will ring true from Showtime. 3K on the round, and it's all down to the 1v1. Fiend, also injured, down to 30 HP, up against Showtime. 30 seconds remaining. Spike is going to move over towards the B site or the A site, or
30 seconds
Showtime
left.
wraps around through the garage. He can't get to that A site in time, so it's likely going to be the late round B hit, or he doubles back to C. All Moon Raccoons need to do, all Fiend needs to do, is wait.
And the most tense part about all this is that they're both insanely weak.
10 seconds
Right,
left.
45 health and I think 30 health on the side of Fiend. So it's a really no room to work with, no room for error for either of these players. The Spike goes down on B, Showtime backs right off, and he's going to be playing off of that window space. You see the smoke come out. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
He's gonna get it. Oh no! I think he pulled off before he got to half, but Fiend does it anyway with the ghost from downtown.
Oh my god. What a round from Moon Raccoons. On the eco of all things. Insane credit has to go to Profi. Let's have a look at this replay. How does he, what a collat with that Hunter's Fury. Just insanity. He still had one more shot left. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to throw that one out for good measure. And now Moon Raccoons, they trail by one. Serenity definitely scratching their heads after that one, forced to the eco. I expect a fast B rush, especially on ecos like this, but they could kind of mix things up still, despite, in their position.
It looks like we're in a pause here. We'll get info. It sounds like it's a technical pause coming out of Serenity. They have the 1-round lead on the attacking side, and things looked great for them, right? They had some good momentum. They were kind of pulling Moon Raccoons around, but that eco round, like you were just talking about, Simo, really changes the entire landscape for this first round. Now for this first half, excuse me. Moon Raccoons is going to have a ton of guns to work with. It looks like it's going to be more of a mixed bag for Serenity here, and that's not where they want to be.
Moon Raccoons definitely going to take this as a sigh of relief, Regardless of the pauses for them or for Serenity, it's like, cool, we got that one. Been a tough uphill battle. Looking at the statistics for UMG, it does feel like, at least for the close qualifier, we've seen tackle really more favored on every single map but Haven. Haven almost 50-50 down the middle. I honestly consider Haven to be like NA's map. I think some pro players would argue Ascent is NA's map. But I think this is where a lot of North American teams really grew up, the first couple of months through the beta, learning Haven, getting better at Haven, and just hating Split. So they were forced to play a lot of Haven. That's why I feel like it's NA's map. And so to see it grow and to see the playstyle grow, agent selections grow, feels good. Feels amazing to see how teams have adapted and what things have obviously changed over time, but for Moon Raccoons, there's a moment of silence, a moment of relief while they wait for this tactical pause, or technical pause rather, to finish up.
All right, let's take a look and see what haven't we seen from Serenity here on the attacking side. We saw plenty of early presence towards B, right? The first couple of rounds went down that way. Then we saw some action A. We saw plenty of hits C. I mean, Serenity have really kind of spread the wealth in a way, and they've been able to show a couple of different looks so far. Again, Moon Raccoons, that last win was absolutely bonkers. But other than that, it really has felt like Serenity's half so far.
It does. And I think for a map like Haven, Moon Raccoons, maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable on the attacking side. It's ultimately a team that favors one side over the next. Looking at some of those statistics for Haven, the close, they favor the attack. For the open, they favored the defense. And for the NSG open, they favored the defense as well. Doesn't mean they're bad on the attack by any means. Whereas on the flip side, it's once again a little bit more even, but Serenity favoring the attack more often than not. So this is their half to really get things rolling, and it does look like Easy has reconnected, and those technical issues are corrected. And so now we can continue this map, and it's going to be once again Serenity looking down that C-long side. Yeah, hasn't always worked out, but we'll see what they can do with the weapons that they have.
Which isn't very much, right? We see a Stinger. And then a couple of oh, no, actually one of the ghosts was even taken away. It's just going to drop down to a classic. There's also no Blade Storm kind of to spice things up and keep things interesting here. But of course, as I say that, Showtime is able to get it. It was aggressive. There was a smoke to cover him. But other than that, there wasn't much keeping him out of harm's way. He was able to get the Blade Storm, however. We'll keep a close eye on that. Meanwhile, on the side of Serenity, or for the rest of Serenity, excuse me, they've got ultimates for days.
Yeah, Moon Raccoons feeling a little bit more comfortable in playing the retake on the B side. Smoke actually going to go down. I believe that is from temperature to dissuade this B hit, as they saw some of that action with the orb control to get that Blade Storm. But now, as Fiend has given up the angle towards Banana, he's playing a little bit more defensively on this A side. He's in for a world of pain, as the Serenity roster has a death ball moving through the sewers. There are going to be Temperature and Alexander quickly to respond, but it depends on how many frags can Fiend find in denying this push forward.
Yeah, because he's really set up to where he can maybe back off to try to get through long. Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do. He's just buying time. At this point, he's able to take care of Joseph. Yeah,
now gonna have to respond. He at least buys enough time, but now the spike is about to go down.
Spike planted.
Spike is down. Aldrone used to clear things out. Alexander with one. The Empress is really now starting to cook up. One player down below. It's turned up too easy. He's going to take him down. Rebo and Profi. On members on the site. The Moon Raccoons will tie us up 3-3. Solid retake. It was a little scrappy. Showtime, or rather Fiend, tried to hold on to the site for as long as he could. But we have to recall that was also an eco for Serenity. So the fact that they made it a little bit expensive for Moon Raccoons does bode well for them in the remainder of this half. It does look like once again we may be in a little bit of a technical pause. Not sure what may be the issue. Maybe a player issue, maybe a production issue. We'll get that all sorted for you as soon as we can. But once again, a solid round for Moon Raccoons. And now we're tied up. Temperature, the only one that can't really participate in buying that Phantom or that Vandal that he wanted for Christmas. have no idea what's going on. If anyone can hear me, I think we may be running into some technical difficulties. Apologies, we'll get things all sorted out. I believe the pause is actually for production itself, not for any of the players. Discord platform we're using control and monitor the broadcast doesn't seem to be working as effectively. Maybe in the regions where some of our staff is located, and we'll get that all sorted out as soon as we can. I don't even know if you can hear me right now, but if you can, that's great. If you can't, that's okay too. I'll just keep talking.
Simo, can you hear me?
Does look like we might back out of the game as Valorant itself is in a little bit of a tough spot.
Simo,
Try to get things all sorted out.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to make this very quick. First and foremost, again, welcome back to the Valorant First Strike UMG Close Qualifiers. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Esports Doug as well as Simo. Look, some things are out of our control, all right? We ended up losing Cloudflare, and because of that, we ended up losing, some Valorant service, well, at least for some, and then we also lost Discord. It happens. It is what it is, but we're recovering, we're rolling with it, and we're going to make some magic happen. We are in game for Moon Raccoons as well as Serenity, so we're going to be able to, continue to tell that story. So I'm going to dip out. You boys take it over. Let's continue this match.
Ooh, all right, let this serve as a friendly reminder. I believe Taylor's going to be leaving us, but I'm not sure. He's still kind of hanging out, which is a great thing. Good looking guy. Yeah, no, super great looking dude. Nice to have him off camera, but I am going to push him off. Come on, time that right. Yeah, that looked really freaking good. Let this serve as a friendly reminder to everyone at home to wear your mask so we can get back into a LAN environment as soon as we possibly can and hopefully avoid situations like this. But again, thank you for sticking with us through the break. I apologize if I or Simo said anything that sounded absolutely ridiculous or dumb during that debacle. We're back in the action, I believe. We're going to get into it as soon as we can. And we'll, as Taylor said, get you back in this story, keep this narrative going. Moon Raccoons with a slight lead, but a lead nonetheless. Man.
Anything that you say negative about me is caster bias. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on to this next round. It's round... I think we missed a round. Did we miss a round? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. It's round 8. Pushes start to come through. Aggressive push from Showtime. Stinger in hand, but Alexander's playing point. Shots will ring true as well, and they'll deny this push forward. Easy will at least find one, and somehow more frags come through. It's the 2v2 retake with Neural Theft spotting out where Serenity are located. This should be an interesting retake for Moon Raccoons.
Yeah, they've got resources coming in from a couple of different areas, so they have the opportunity for a retake here. They also have an operator in the hands of Fiend. You see both members of Serenity starting to peek their way into Garage and potentially back all the way down long. For Fiend also has that Blade Storm in tow. So there's certainly an opportunity, but Serenity don't even get the spike down. They're just going to rotate away.
I think Showtime's got a bug where he's permanently
30 seconds
falling.
left.
Floating, yes, floating, falling. But at least, even though he's shift walking, it looks like he's going at hyper speed, He's got those enemy lines on the outside, like he's just running through.
No more chances left.
And he is running quite quickly over towards the A site. 14 seconds left. Do they have enough time to
10
plant?
seconds
They
left.
do, but how safe will it be as Moon Raccoons are on the hunt? They're on the prowl, and they're here. They've arrived. If they want to force the issue here, they can start to get involved right away, and they will. And they will. And they will. Fiend and Rebo. Fiend updrafted, overlooked in to Haven from the Link side, and finds the frag. Really solid stuff.
Yeah, and that's such a difficult spot to counter, right? Like, who's randomly going to be looking over that very corner of the wall, randomly in the middle of a map? So for him to be able to leverage that position and get a kill was absolutely huge. And then on the site, dropping things down to a 1v1 on the site in particular was just easy pickings. It was easy money. So a very good round, good final moments to that round there for Moon Raccoons, leveraging all of the possible angles and all of the resources available to get that site retaken and to win the round. 4 in a row now for Moon Raccoons. And for Serenity, things look good early on, but as we mentioned, it was that eco that just kind of busted everything open.
Early look from Serenity, presence towards the sewer side. Moon Raccoons back off of banana control, and now Showtime has all the control he wants. He's got the operator as well, bringing in that operator wherever he can. But now the Hunter's Fury is coming in from Profi, and Scourge is just trying to dodge those arrows coming his way, and it's going to be a quick rotate over from A lobby. And Rebo's the only one here to stop him.
Well, Rebo's going to be there, as is Profi close by. But of course, as I say that, he is taken out at the hands of Showtime. Rebo's still kind of working his angles. Oh, he's going to get spotted. They know exactly where he is. That's a difficult spot to be in. But the cavalry is beginning to arrive for Moon Raccoons. I like that smoke there. It's just going to buy a little bit of time, cause a little bit of confusion. You see the drones coming up, but they're just going to be able to blind fire into that smoke. Fiend is taken out. That's a difficult situation here for Moon Raccoons, given the positioning of the spike, given everything that they have, and that paranoia could have proved to be problematic. Showtime is still alive with the blades, and he takes care of Rebo at the very end.
Yeah, planted for long. It's tough, especially when there's 3 members held up in Dragon, just holding down the angle. Of course, the smoke still comes through, but yeah, when you've got Showtime, updrafts over, gets a peek in, and now at least Serenity will stop the bleeding, trail by 1. They started off hot, but now have regained some of that steam. Once again, Serenity preparing for early aggression towards the A long side, an early peek. We've seen this gentleman's agreement time and time again, but Moon Raccoons have got something else in store. Rebo going to be the anchor now for the A site. We talked about this potential switch that now means that Profi and company are going to be playing a little bit more aggressively towards that C side, or at least to start. But this anchor swap is the most interesting thing about the mid-round, or sorry, this half kind of unfolding for Moon Raccoons.
And it's interesting. It was a later call, right? Like, you see just on the minimap, it was a couple of seconds into it before Rebo started setting up all of his utility. He's got a couple of cages now, very interestingly set up around the short side, and he's got the camera as well. It really kind of forces... It forces things for the attacking side. It limits their options. They can only go really down that long side, and they have that, and then the Cypher cam there certainly causes problems. Rebo's able to get the opener onto Scourge as he tries getting onto the site, but again, that thing is locked down. There's really no way in there.
Oh, Profi from range almost finds the second as Easy unloaded an entire clip to take him down. And so far, this has been quite effective with Rebo in the anchor swap. Now, unfortunately, the Lyra comes through, but Alexander still finds one. Dismissed to find another. Temperature with the Guardian, and Showtime up in Cubby. He's really got to worry about losing this op here. 3 members can still take them down in an individual 1v1 fights. With the smoke down, he's going to try to at least back away for the time being. Rebo on the flank. Pay attention on the minimap as he gets into a position and hears those footsteps come through. Now the swing shot's going to be good from Showtime, and he's going to save that op into the next round.
I thought for sure Rebo heard him coming. He was thunderfooting all the way around the corner. I thought surely he would have been able to hold that angle and take care of him, but a nice response there with the operator out of Showtime to get the kill in the closing moments, and as you said, carry that into the next round. As far as finances go, that's obviously a ton of money saved, and well off too, because you see both Turnup and Joseph don't have a ton to work with. They're going to be able to bring in some armor, but not much else. A Bulldog there. Joseph's going to be rocking Old Faithful in the Classic. It's just, I think, again, reinforcing the importance of carrying that operator into this round.
I think now as well, Serenity has been conditioned for that Rebo hold on the C side. So now we're seeing a little bit more positioning from Fiend come out, has the op. He was looking down A long almost every single round, partnered with Alexander. And this swap of players, I think Serenity obviously, not obviously, but they might have some general idea, not seeing Fiend peek at that anymore, seeing the camera on the A site last round. A lot of tells here to say, okay, they might have swapped things around, so we have to adjust our game plan. And this is near the end of the half, Doug. So to adjust your game plan, maybe finish 6-6, you've got to adapt on the fly.
And certainly those adaptations have worked out so far. Again, Moon Raccoons has a 2-round lead. As Simo was just mentioning, there's a ton of utility over on A site. Otherwise, the defenses of Moon Raccoons are relatively well spread out too. You see Fiend with the operator. It looks like he might get a chance at something here. He's already pinging out where that paranoia is going to go. Not going to tag up on anyone. You see it was just the right time. Fiend holding that down, able to get one onto Scourge.
Solid angles as well. They paranoia the tree or the logs to anticipate the players holding that
30
angle.
seconds left.
But Fiend is in the back of Plat. He has a beautiful angle into the garage connector. And now it's all down to Showtime once again. This time, he has to lose the op. Rebo through the smoke sprays him down. Solid defensive positioning from Moon
Last
Raccoons.
round in the half.
Very, very well played, really. And even you saw the paranoia coming out towards logs to see if they were going to be able to catch anyone, but it was just so well played. You mentioned Fiend with the operator. They're holding that down. We often see an Omen playing in that spot because of some of the mobility that he has in a difficult situation, can go ahead and just telly out. And Jet offers that same flexibility. So we saw, had Fiend been caught in a pretty raw position there, he'd be able to telly out, or excuse me, dash out. But this, either way, he didn't find himself in that. He was able to get the kills that he needed. This time on the attacking side, Serenity looking a bit more towards this garage mid area. We've seen a lot of hits down C long recently, and it seems like, at least early on in this round, they've wised up and they are not going that way.
Okay, and they know Profi's there. Hunter's Fury comes through. He's trying to avoid it. Will he avoid the third one here? That's the most important one. Paranoia to stop the push forward. And a lot of smokes come through and a lot of paranoias as well. Serenity, Profi, as the paranoia subsides, he finds Scourge on the retreat. And now it's the B side. Quick hit for Serenity. But guess who's there? It's Fiend. He knows that so much action has been going on in the garage side, and he's got to find a couple of picks here. The ghost doesn't work out, but it's all down to Easy, and Easy is not the task ahead. Shots will come through, and Profi through the cyber cage will take him down. Really great late half adaptations from Moon Raccoons. It started out a little rough, but they finally picked up some steam, and when they picked up that steam, they swapped things around. Rebo moving over towards the A site. Fiend stopping the look down A long and playing towards Plat. A lot of great late round adaptations from Moon Raccoons and Serenity. How are they going to defend against this roster down 4 rounds?
And Simo, remind me, was it round 3 or was it round 5 where there was that huge eco win from Moon Raccoons?
It was 5. It was 5 with the Hunter Series 3K.
Yeah.
That was really the turning point for Moon Raccoons.
I mean, look at the half since that round. Right? Moon Raccoons found something that adjusted, that made things better for them on that side. And then, of course, the momentum swing there was absolutely huge as well. Let's see what they're able to do on the attacking side. They've stacked up a lot towards this A side, going to be splitting things up, a couple towards short, and the vast majority of the rest of it going in towards long. There's some utility there coming out of the Cypher to keep things at bay, but it looks like they're going to try to push their way in anyway. There's that dash. He tries to get into it, but he stops just a bit short, but it doesn't matter. Fiend with the jumping classic burst is able to take care of Showtime. Rebo gets in on the action as well.
4-stack push down long, and they find great success. A great paranoia as well from Temperature to paranoid up and over to take down that player up on the box, and the player is located in that little cubby area. And so now it's a forced retake. They've got to just force the issue, walk through the smoke, use the utility that they can. There's too many angles to check, unfortunately. Alexander down in hell, Rebo on the off angle leading from the cubby. Moon Raccoons winning the pistol. We could see a 10-4 start to this half, and Serenity will have to climb back deep after that following gun round to get some of those rounds back in their pocket.
It does not look like they're going to be forcing up either. As for now, they're just going to have classics going into this. And again, for Serenity, it's a difficult ask, but you've got to find a way to stop the bleeding, right? Whatever that looks like, and maybe you just wait until you've got better guns to make something spicy happen, but there's got to be a different look, something to change the momentum, the landscape of this map. Because as you said, Moon Raccoons are really just, they're a couple of rounds away from cracking this thing open and taking a huge win off of Serenity early on.
What a great read here from Serenity. Early stack on the C side, 4 members strong, and the paranoia is going to really help out with that. Showtime is 1 moment away from just tailwinding in and finding at least a pick or two. They won't trade. They'll find the Omen. Easy will be taken down. Pre-fire shots, but the entire team has funneled all the way over towards the A side. I'd imagine they may be in proximity with one another to hear some of that maybe. There's a camera that'll confirm this now. But Temperature has caused enough of a ruckus, and the rest of the team really, to cause this fast rotate over to this A side.
Planted.
Serenity not going to have anyone cheeky coming in through short or long or anything like that. It's just going to be all coming in from that cut and that heaven area. Again, they don't have much as far as guns go. Serenity doesn't. They have classics, really. I think I saw one sheriff, but other than that, relatively meager. Fiend's just able to pick them apart from the sky, and Coffee joins in on it as well. A flawless round for Moon Raccoons, a 10-4 lead here in the opening map.
And that is so good for the economy as well. We often see a trade of some sort. 2 members will fall, 3 members will carry those Spectres over. But that is so good for their economy. And considering, like we had identified, they're on the precipice of closing this one out. Just a couple of rounds needed to be strung together, and they'll be sitting pretty. If they can find success on this one, this is a very important round for Serenity to overcome. That is going to be very, very difficult to climb back from, because they'll be down 11-4. Moon Raccoons will buy and upgrade weapons. So this push in through sewers really has to be held well by Showtime.
Well, he's certainly going to get a chance. You see him dash back before even seeing anyone because his spidey senses were tingling. He knew exactly where the push was going to be coming in from. He was able to get one traded out by Alexander up short. You see the Leer has been used as he continues to push forward and create more space for his team. The spike is going to, it is going to go down at the hands of Profi. They're going to assume their post plans, and now it's on Serenity in a straight up 3v3. Can they get back onto the site? Can they take control?
And enough time has passed for Moon Raccoons to get into their post-plant position. Smoke will stop at least one angle from the Moon Raccoons, but there is a player in Hell, and there's a player playing close behind the box. Another smoke will stop the player from Easy from pushing in. Lear will come through. He's gonna find Alexander. Another comes Easy, but Profi with 2. One more is all he needs, but the time is ticking, and it's time for Scourge to find and seal the deal on the round. Serenity trail by 5, but look how close that one is. That is so expensive for Serenity.
It really is, and Profi had a chance there, right? With the Spectre, he was able to get 2, and somehow, through the chaos, survived at least enough to keep things interesting. The problem was he had 1 health. I mean, you even saw the classic from that distance. I want to say it was a burst even that was able to clean him up from that far away, just a testament to how weak he really was. So, I mean, well played. You got to give kudos to Serenity there, the way they were able to play that out. But I really like what we're seeing out of Moon Raccoon so far. And then now that they're especially going to be on the gun round, this bodes well.
I love that recon bolt angle. Right into the courtyard there. It doesn't really reveal any players pushing in from the garage doors, but that's what temperature is there for. Not that the defense would normally do so. You normally see operator players, they'll push in, right? They'll get that early peek and then tailwind out. Profi finds one with the Owl Drone, but we saw this execute in that first pistol round. The Owl Drone leads the way, Paranoia behind that cubby side, and boom, here comes the execute. Profi with the Hunter's Fury. He's gonna try to at least deny some of the members rotating over, but still no one's fallen. There we go, Rebo breaks the ice. Showtime backside, now trying to get to safety, but guess who's there waiting and ready for him? It's Profi. All he has to do is swing, they'll pinch him out, and Serenity down to 3 in the retake.
Yeah, make that 2, or really 1.5. If you want to think about it that way, if he's able to get a pick, he can heal up and get himself in a better situation. But I just don't know what Serenity really has that they can bring to the table here. You see him start to rotate away. This is certainly going to be a save for them both, so they can take the guns into the next round. Both Vandals look like they're going to make it through. And Moon Raccoons, we were mentioning how good of a position they're in. They just continue to build on that lead. It was a very, very well-played entry onto this site. They used plenty of utility. You mentioned Profi with the Hunter's Fury to clear out more space and give them room to work with, and it really was just smooth sailing at that point.
It seems like that is a standard play that their coach Raptor Z has developed for the Moon Raccoons, right? You've got 3 or 4 barreling down Banana. They use the Owl Drone to scout out the sewers to not avoid wasting anybody's life. And they use that to clear things out. They're also going to use a follow-up Paranoia towards that cubby to deny further. Okay, if the Owl Drone falls, if there is somebody there, it's kind of like a little, like a logic, test. Like if A, then B, right? So if there's a player there, they'll follow up with Paranoia, but they mostly follow up anyways to allow safe passage for the rest of the Moon Raccoons to funnel in from the Banana side. And they ran that in the pistol, and they're running that there in the 4th round here. We'll see if there are more rounds to come like that, but we might be looking at the nail in the coffin shortly. Showtime, early looks here. He's got the Blade Storm. It's an eco round. Man. He has to come up big here. The Knives are going to at least try to find one, but he gets tagged down to 33. Unsuccessful attempt, and now he's got to hold back and wait for the rest of the team to figure out how they want to play the rest of this round out.
I like that out of Showtime. And you could see even before the round started, he was posturing right up onto that gate. So you knew he was going to do something aggressive there, try to get an early pick. The problem was, number one, he got smoked out. Number two, he pushed his way into 4 people coming in from Moon Raccoons. I'm sure he was looking for a pick. Certainly did get more than he bargained for and had to back off. He's still anchoring down on that spot. Meanwhile, Moon Raccoons, they showed a lot of presence towards C, but they rotated away. Furthermore, Temperature has already gotten 2 back over onto that site. If there was the possibility of a ruse, it's been exposed as the action has gone down just outside of the A doors as well. Serenity's just down to 1 member left. Moon Raccoons going right back where they started towards C long.
Some of the Moon Raccoons, while the A action was happening, those Serenity members got there super early, so they were just waiting for the counter push down the A long side. And the rest of the Moon Raccoons were working their way up onto the C site, and there was a couple of trades. Scourge manages to find 2 before he straighted out. So a little close, but they're sitting at match point. Serenity, that was a relative eco round for them. It's not going to be that great this round either, as you see the force up. Light armor, a Spectre for turn up, a Bulldog for easy because he wants the heavy armor instead of the light, but they're down to 0. They're down to 0s. They got some ultimates to work with. They've got the Neural Theft and the Empress. We'll see if that ends up being, or sorry, that might be, yeah, they still have sorry, not the Neural Theft, but they have the Empress, the Blade Storm. I know, I'm confusing myself now at this point.
You were right. You were right. You were right. Serenity is also close on a couple of other ones, but it doesn't look like they've been really able to get much as far as orb control goes. Meanwhile, Moon Raccoons has. They are in match point here. You see that early paranoia coming out. The drone is going to follow a similar flavor to what we've seen over on A, but this time it's going to be on C. It's going to be responded with the paranoia of Serenity's own as they keep things at bay just for now, as nobody is dropped.
I like the way they deal with that Plat player, but he's just going to get back into that corner if he's uncontested for a long period of time, right? They managed to flush him out with the shock bolt, the shock dart there, sorry. But now they still want to deal with him, and you see Fiend, he's just going back for more, And Moon Raccoons kind of stuck in this dragon area. They're going to start to funnel back, and Showtime's going to be ready with a little bit of an off angle in the sewers. But do Moon Raccoons go towards that A site? Do they have enough to clear? I believe the Owl drone was used early, so they won't have that this time to push up and see if they can get sewers control.
Yeah. They are getting some info with the dart. You see it, use it down A long. Nobody's home. Meanwhile, Rebo's lurking around, and he gets punished for it. They really haven't gotten a whole lot of room anywhere on the map. Simo, you see that Lear was just used on A as well, and once again, a tale as old as time, they're going all the way back to C again. With 12 seconds left, they're going to have to do something quickly. Serenity's able to just pick it apart. There weren't a ton of options left for Moon Raccoons to work with. Profi's going to drop at the hands of Scourge, a 3K for him on the round. And for now, Serenity keeps the map going. They stay alive.
A little bit of, excuse me, mid to late round indecisiveness. They didn't get enough information that they had wanted from the potential A site rotate. They were a little respectful and a little afraid of who might be there from Serenity. So they instead just tried to set up a fake, anticipating that somebody might have been there, and called players over for the rotate. But Serenity never left the C site. They never did. So it was the correct read, the correct call. And of course, they also had the information that Showtime was in the sewers, right? He would have heard trampling down. So great round there from Serenity to hold on. They have 6 more rounds remaining, and we know how explosive the Moon Raccoons can be. Just 4 stack down C long. It's gonna work eventually.
Jeez, Moon Raccoons going in hot and heavy. The Empress has been used. Fiend dashes his way in, but isn't able to get anything. As Turnup is able to get him, Alexander does, however, get something in exchange as things drop down to a 4v4. You heard the Empress used early on out of Moon Raccoons, and the Hunter Fury is going to be used to respond as well.
Oh, the Showtime flank. Pay attention to the mini-map. He's not going to find Rebo just yet. That's going to be the trade. He doesn't find him. And the Neural Theft to boot. There's a shock dart kill onto Profi, but the spike is planted for long. They'll smoke off the players coming in from the behind the plat side. Alexander's going to find Turnup. Temperature's going to find Scourge. 1 more player remaining. It's all down to Joseph. They know exactly where he is. Alexander's flanking behind. They're just going to pinch him from all angles. A solid map here from the Moon Raccoons, 13-6. And this, of course, was also going to be the map that they needed to win. And now we move on to Moon Raccoons territory. The Ascent's going to be a scary place.
It is going to be a scary one. Folks, we're going to cut to a very quick break. We promise we won't be gone for long. When we return, map 2 between these two juggernauts. Don't go anywhere.